How companies can speed up their process?
I think the best way to speed up the process is to define the process. A lot of organizations, I'd say almost all organizations, they interview a la carte. In other words, let's say you're looking for a new chief financial officer, and maybe you're even working with a firm. Maybe you've just posted a job, but ultimately candidates are coming in your direction, right? Well, you interview Bob at the coffee shop. You guys have a great breakfast and you really like Bob, but you're talking about, college football from the previous weekend, right? And then you interview Susan in your office. It's very formal. It's a completely different process. The questions are different. The circumstances are different. The environment's different. I can see when a client gets on a video interview and they're in a bad mood, right? And I can just almost immediately tell that it's going to go poorly simply because the interviewer's in a bad mood. So that does a disservice sometimes to the best candidate. It's not that candidate's fault that you're in a bad mood. It's not that candidate's fault that you've decided to interview them in a noisy environment. So if you define your process and execute it the same for every candidate, it's going to give you, which is what we do, it's going to give you a much better idea and ability to compare the candidates, for who's the best fit, not only for you, but for them as well.
Right. So that means the process they have, which is not clearly defined for every candidate.
Yeah.